Hi guys, this is an invention. It's a centrifuge hyper spin engine, and this engine has multiple uses from creating a engine that moves faster than any engine in the world known to man to using as a uh, as a vehicle for transportation in space by using its mass increase rapidly to acquire a slingshot to another solar system or another planetary system. Um, that's one way of, and the other invention possibility is slowing time by creating a time dilation bubble, and the other one is as a weapon for warfare for kinetic purposes by increasing the weight of the the object, in case a rocket, could be used as a weapon. It could be used for a lot of purposes. Uh, uh, for instance, in this project, well, this is in the video, is basically it's a is a concept of slowing time to preserve food, medicine, preserve uh, actual food from spoiling. The way it works is basically the same. Let me get my keys and see if I can show you this. Where is it at? Okay. Let's say this is spinning 2058 Gs, and then in another engine on top of it, 2058 Gs. Each engine's got its own engine and fuel supply and energy supplies to make it spin. So each engine is individually separate, but they are interconnected as a series. So this engine is spinning at 2058, next one's spinning at 2058 Gs, and so on. Then accumulative 2058 Gs, and so on. Let's say you have 8 engines. You could have 8, 10, 100, doesn't matter. You can have as many engines interconnected, but the Gs will be accumulative. And so the RPMs will be accumulative. These are just regular numbers; they're not actual numbers. That's just for video purposes. Anyway, the RPMs are cumulative. Let's say you have 8 engines. Each one's a 3,500 spinning, so the one on top is always going to spin faster than the one on the bottom, even though they're spinning at the same speed. So it's all cumulative speed. Even though they're spinning at the same speed, the one above is going to be spinning faster than the one on the bottom. So each one spinning at 3,500 speed. And say you have 8 engines, you multiply 3,500 RPMs by 8 engines, and that equals to 28,000 RPMs at the top, right here. So that's the total speed on 8 engines for this number. And then also the Gs, if you got 2058 Gs, 2058 Gs, it's not cumulative, so each one's going to be spinning. The top one's going to be spinning faster than the bottom one, and so I mean, though they're spinning at the same Gs, and for this concept, it's all cumulative. So the one above is always going to be spinning faster than the one at the bottom. So if you got 2058 Gs multiplied by 8 engines, so if you got for one engine 2058 Gs multiplied by 8, that equals 16,464 Gs. So that's the G forces that's going to be on top over here. So if you have this object spinning at 6,464 Gs, and let's pretend this object's 1 ton in weight. So 1 ton is basically, let's pretend this is Earth's gravity. Earth's gravity is basically, let's pretend this is 1 ton at Earth's gravity, or G1, or G force is 1. So a G1 is actually Earth's gravity. So if you have G2, there's going to be double the weight. So a G2, it's going to be 2 times 1 equals 2. So basically 2 times 1 equals 2. So it'll be 2 tons. So 2 Gs, this will be 2 tons. And okay, in that sense, if you multiply this by the total amount of Gs in combination, cumulative, so remember each one is spinning at 2058 Gs. Now you multiply by 8 engines. 8 engines times 2058 Gs equals 16,464 Gs. So that's the total Gs spinning on top. 16,464 Gs. That's the Gs are multiplying. That's the total G forces spinning at this moment. If you know your math and your science, the faster you spin, the heavier you get. Also, the faster you move, the heavier you get. So that's Einstein's theory, relativity and all that stuff. Anyway, So if this object is 1 ton and you're spinning at g-forces more than 1 Earth, then you multiply whatever the g-forces are for what the number, and you get the weight increase. So if this is 1 ton and you're spinning at 16,464 Gs, well, guess what? You multiply 16,464 Gs times 1 ton, and you get 16,464 tons. So this 1 ton immediately becomes 16,464 tons. So that object becomes heavier than even the Earth's mass per molecule. So each molecule in its object will be heavier than Earth itself. Imagine having a quarter, and the quarter weighs more than a ton. It's just the same principle, but different weight. Just imagine having a quarter in your hand, but the weight of it is so immense. It's the size of the weight of a truck. So that's the principle. Now, if you have this system combined, and you have the same concept on the other side, right here, another series. The paper's trying to fall off. If you have this system combined over here of series, separate series, and this one's a series of spinning engines, but then you have a space in between. You having this space in between of the two spinning series of engines, two separate but opposite to each other, but you have a space in between. Then in that space you have what you call a time displacing bubble, and that time slows down. So anything in that bubble slows down. So anything in there will slow down. So let's say, pretend for example purposes, let's say you spend there 1 minute in this time bubble. When you get out to the real world, outside the bubble, time has already passed 1 hour. So you're in the future. So same concept for food. You keep food there for several minutes. Let's say you get there for several minutes or hours from spoiling. When you need it, maybe 10 years later, food is freshly there, even especially cooked food. And you put cooked food in there for several minutes. When it comes out, you might be several days. The food's still cooked and stuff. It preserved the food itself because it slowed down time. Even though time outside the bubble it keeps on going normally, the inside it slows down. Just like your refrigerator. Your refrigerator also keeps everything frozen and preserves it. So in this case, it being freezing with cold, it's actually slowing to the point of freezing time. You're not totally freezing time, you're just slowing it down with this concept. But it's just the same principle as the refrigerator, except it's not slowing time than on the freezer. But you could add the same concept, but it's differently. Well, anyway, it's a way to preserve food for the future. You can preserve food. You can preserve folks that are injured in the hospital from actually, if you have serious injuries, you can preserve them to actually do procedures and later on to advance their medical needs. So actually you preserve the sick for future operations or surgeries or medications or cures, as well as also preserve food supply. Anything is perishable you can preserve. There you go, guys.